it going there, audience, Athens football community, post-Athens community, whoever you are. Thanks for watching, tuning in. I'm Winston.
I'm Jimmy.
And we both cover Athens high school football. And so we're going to break down this past weekend for you and kind of break down the season, too, as we approach the halfway point, and then kind of look forward a little bit to the game against Logan this Friday night at Logan. So first, let's talk a little bit about what Athens did against Vinton County. Jimmy, it was just a complete dominant performance. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, Vinton County came in the game 1-3, so we got to take that for what it's worth. But they were also 1-0 in conference, as was Athens, so they were tied for first with Nelsonville, York, I think. And the offense, we finally got to see what the offense is at full strength, even if it's not even quite at full strength yet, because there are still small question marks about, maybe sharing time at certain positions and maybe getting Trace Alvin even more involved, because he scored 3 touchdowns last week on 6 touches, so they might want to get him the ball a little more. The defense, Vinton County was supposed to maybe get the secondary a little more accustomed to just defending the pass in general, because they hadn't done that really at all, facing 3 option teams that run the ball 90% of the time or so. So, and in that regard, the numbers would say that Athens succeeded there, although the Vinton County quarterback was off all night, and when he was on, his receivers were dropping passes. They had 4 drops, and he was overthrowing guys and underthrowing guys. It was just a rough night for them. 63-14 is impressive, but I don't think that's an accurate depiction of the difference between those two teams if they're playing at the top of their games, because, like I said, there were receivers open a decent amount in the first half for Vinton County.
You mentioned Nayland Yates, who is the quarterback for Vinton County, was over and underthrowing his players. I mean, if you watch that game, if he puts a couple of those passes on the mark, it's a completely different ball game, because he has some bombs that he just kind of overthrew the guys, and if he puts those just right where his receivers were, that changes the game completely. I mean, as for those who follow the team and have seen the team play, they've given up several big plays that have resulted in touchdowns, and 2 of them came against Vinton County. Both of their touchdowns was a 68-yard halfback off tackle, and the other one was a quarterback keeper that turned into a 47-yard scamper for 6. And so Athens, I mean, me and you have talked about it. Their secondary is really where they need to improve, because a couple of those big plays that break free, if you slow those down, Athens is a completely different team. Not only that, you put a couple of plays that they got, the passing plays that they just were missing the mark, you add those in there, and it's a completely different game, and it looks like Vinton County just completely abuses Athens secondary. So that's definitely something to look out for as we move through the rest of the season, because they haven't really faced many passing teams yet this year. I mean, a lot of them have been run option, and have been quarterback keeper running 2 quarterback system. So they haven't really seen a true passing offense, which is to their benefit, because their run defense is unstoppable. I mean, their defensive line is almost unpenetratable, because they just minus a couple of big plays, they really don't allow many 6 and 7 yard runs. And then the passing, if Athens plays a team that can put the ball in the wide receiver's hands accurately, then you're talking about a completely different team.
Yeah, I'm with you on the secondary thing. That goes back to Trace a little bit, because he got like maybe 2 or 3 snaps in at D-back on Friday, and one of the snaps he got was a really impressive pass breakup on a long pass play that was, again, maybe a little underthrown, but it was a really athletic play he made. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season he ends up number 1 on the depth chart there as well. The kid, basically what it comes down to with Trace is, even if he might not be the best option for the team at quarterback right now with Brendan Sano, the reason for that might just be because he's the best football player on the team, and they could use his athleticism in so many different, not necessarily different, but better ways, as just having him be the do-all Swiss Army knife on offense, where you can throw him the ball, hand it to him, and he can make a big play. Or just, and I think he will be used more on defense as well to lock down whoever they got at the other side receiver-wise. And just having experience in the secondary helps too. Right now they've got 2 sophomores that start, Lane Heller and Logan Maxfield. Maxfield's pretty impressive, but it helped if you threw Lane Heller. He's really undersized. Is the main thing with him. Trace is like 6'1" or so, super fast, super athletic. That would boost the entire secondary, because Trace had played secondary in middle school and freshman year, and he's starting to work back into it now. So that just helps so much.
We've been talking a lot about Trace this season, and certainly can't get past talking about him against Vinton County. He had 127 all-purpose yards and 3 touchdowns, 2 receiving and 1 rushing. The guy, like he said, he's an athlete. He started out a quarterback this season, got hurt, lost the job, and now he's being utilized multiple places on the field. And so he is one of our top performances from this past weekend because again, 127 all-purpose yards in his first game, not playing quarterback.
Basically in 1.5 too.
Exactly, that's pretty remarkable. He caught a nice 25-yard bomb from Sano. He had a nice 27-yard jet sweep run, and then he had a nice little swing pass that turned into 6 as well.
And a 40-yard catch that wasn't a touchdown, but he made a really nice adjustment on it. It was the first, I think it was the first play he made.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a jet sweep before that, but it was just, he's a natural at the position. He really is.
Absolutely. Along with the offense, you got Roback and Castile. You talked about having competition at the running back spot. These are 2 guys that again had very strong performances against Vinton County. Castile finished with I think 93 yards 93 rushing yards, and Tyler Roback had
114, 113, something like that.
So to have a dual running back system is what I think Adams is going to switch to, at least if he was smart, because you can't bench one of the guys unless it's a blatant mistake, like a fumble, which could put Roback on the bench because these past couple of games he's had I think 3 fumbles over 2 games. So that's with Castile stepping up and playing extremely well these past few games. He may be looking to lose some time if he can't hold on to the ball.
Yeah, he was the first time he was replaced was against Canal Winchester for a fumble early in the game. Castile came in and didn't get as much time because they were behind and needed to throw the ball a little more. But he looked pretty good. And then against, we didn't see too much of him after that. He would get scarce carries here and there. Then he comes in against Alexander after Roback fumbles again and runs for 127 yards, and no one can tackle this dude by themselves. It seems like he's running guys over, bouncing off tacklers left and right. And then last week they both play. Roback fumbles early. I really thought that might be the end of it for him. I thought Castile had the opportunity to seize the job by himself, and Castile played well. You said 93 yards, 2 touchdowns, but Roback came back in. Adams gave him a chance for redemption, and he did that. He had 113 yards and a touchdown himself. So yeah, definitely keeping an eye on Roback, hanging on to the ball if he wants to stay in the rotation. But at the very least, it's a 2-back rotation right now.
Yeah, and you talk about having a 2-back, 2 really good running backs. They can't do it without the offensive line. The offensive line is opening up some really big holes. I think Tyler Roback had almost 50 rushing yards in the first quarter alone, let alone finishing with over 100. The offensive line is definitely doing the running backs justice in terms of giving them the opportunity to make plays. And Tyler mentioned at the end of the game that in his past few seasons he's had to really work to get those yards. He hasn't had a strong offensive front. Now he's got a strong offensive front where he doesn't even have to necessarily work as hard to get those yards. They give him a hole. His first 3 or 4 carries went for 6 yards each. So it's nice for him to have somebody. And even Adams is starting to acknowledge the fact that his offensive line is doing a really good job up front. And he's preaching that to them to continue to do well. So running will no longer be a problem, especially with having a run quarterback in Brandon Center.
Yeah, Adams has said that he felt from the very beginning of the year that the line was going to be the strength of the team, and you can really see when they're focused and they're locked in, they're dominant. They're just Roback and Castile and Sano are getting 5 or 6 yards before they're even touched. They can do whatever they want in the ground game to the point where in the Alexander game they just decided we don't really need to throw the ball. We're just going to do whatever we want on the ground, and you can see sometimes Adams says that he'll yell at them at halftime or something because he doesn't feel like they're being dominant enough. It's to the point where maybe these dudes are just overpowering the other teams to the point where they might even be getting bored, which is just unbelievable. I don't think they've seen a top-notch defensive line yet, and I'd love to see them go against a tough front seven. But right now, there's no one who can match up with these guys that we've seen so far.
They're big, they're strong, and they're getting the job done. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm Wynston again. This is Jimmy. We'll be at practice tomorrow, so we'll have a video update in terms of what to look for against Logan this week. At Logan, kickoff is at 7 p.m. instead of 7:30 p.m. So a little bit of a switch up there, but we'll be there. Hope you can join us. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at WYNSTON W_.
I'm at capital JA Jimbo Jr.
And follow us on Twitter. We'll have all your Athens High School football update and other sports-related information. Thanks.